Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 121. My name is Jason Erpeling. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-Rental.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
And today is May 31st, 2023. And so I guess your 11-month window is June 1st, 2024. And the 7-month window is December 31st, 2023. If I'm wrong on that, just
should be good to go.
Put me in the doghouse. But remember, BuyandSellDVC.com, DVC-Rental. Remember the dash to save the cash. We're going to start with the buy and sell side of things. And really, it's just a little fun little game we're playing. We did the overrated, underrated rides. What is the most top 2 underrated resorts, DVC resorts at Walt Disney World? We're not including any of the Vero Beach, Hilton Head, Hawaii. What are the 2 resorts in Walt Disney World that are underrated? Now, I would say this. I'm going to give Scott a chance to write down his.
For the record, he didn't tell me about this. So
yeah, I didn't tell him. So I'm going to talk. He's going to write down his 2, what he thinks are the 2 underrated resorts at Walt Disney World. When he gets done with that, then I'll reveal what I think are the 2 underrated resorts at Walt Disney World. At this time, I think that, buzz happens and this changes, but I would say as of it's May 31st, as of right now, that's what I would say. Do you have your answer?
Since I don't know about these rules, this is like for staying there, or if you mean like for a purchase? Like staying.
I mean, it's under, like if you're sitting around talking to people about the DVC resorts at Walt Disney World, you're like, oh, you got to stay here, and for some reason these don't get brought up right now anyway.
Okay. I got my top 2.
Got your top 2. So I'm just going to start with number 2. Number 2 for me is Old Key West. Because Old Key West, to me, especially if you fall into the category of vacationing with multiple generations. You're vacationing with grandma and grandma, parents, kids. I mean, you can stay in a 2-bedroom at Old Key West. Your car's right by your villa. You have an enormous amount of room. People can come and go as they please. And, it's just, if you're a golfer, then you have the golf course right there. I would say this, the peak of Old Key West was, the sales center used to be at Old Key West way back in the day. Maybe this is now, 2000. Oh no, this is, 2000 maybe or something. And so the sales center finally, it moved to Boardwalk. And then they finally converted Old Key West into villas, which meant there was more Old Key West points that were going to be available, and they were going to release them on whatever date. So they sold X amount of points on that day for Old Key West. They sold it out in one day. To me, of my knowledge, that was the first ever $1 million day in DVC history. To me, that was the peak of Old Key West, because it was, hey, it just got converted, and then everybody lined up to buy more Old Key West points.
Interesting.
So that's a little bit of history I throw out there for you. So that's my number 2 is Old Key West. What are your thoughts on Old Key West being underrated?
Well, Old Key West is currently, especially Olivia's, is on my embargo at the moment because they have not brought back the pork carnitas. The lunch special had the pork carnitas. It was the only thing I loved there, and they took them out after COVID. So I'm still a bit embargoing Old Key West. But overall, great resort. Bigger rooms, less expensive options as well. So the lower point room, super laid back, island feel. They're playing Jimmy Buffett and reggae music throughout the resort. It's a really, really nice laid back resort. So I do enjoy Old Key West. It's tougher because it's not right by any park, and it's not by it's. Like the transportation, there's no transportation issue, but it's not by any park. It's missing its little cliche to it. It's not my favorite resort, but I think it's underrated. It's definitely an underrated one. But very nice options. I have a lot of friends who love staying at Old Key West, but it is a very, very nice resort. It's right similar with Saratoga Springs being right there. Just I like Saratoga is easier option to get to Disney Springs. I wish Old Key West had an easier option to get to Disney Springs besides just the boat. But I mean, for a big resort with golf and all the options that they have, I mean, And a lot of times, it's definitely overlooked. So I think that's a very, very good option that you chose.
What was number 2 for you?
My number 2, I guess I'm going to go with Bay Lake Tower.
Oh, okay.
Bay Lake Tower does get some love, but I mean, everybody, when they talk about monorail resorts, they talk about Grand Floridian and they talk about Polynesian. Bay Lake Tower is on the monorail. It's also it's walking distance to Magic Kingdom. It's the closest resort to Magic Kingdom Park, which is where a lot of people are spending a good amount of their time. Maybe not majority, but a large amount of their time at Magic Kingdom. So lots of really good options. And again, it's ones that we get a lot of requests in for Grand Floridian and a lot for Polynesian. And there's definitely a drop off before you get to Bay Lake Tower. And again, Bay Lake Tower, not my favorite resort at all, but I mean, it is a great option, fantastic location. And I feel it's underrated because I feel that the other 2 monorail resorts get so much more love than Bay Lake Tower.
And Bay Lake Tower, I mean, it was my number 1.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes. And then again, the one of the things he touched on is, especially if you're in the category of you have kids, maybe 1 kid, and the kid is less than 5, or you have 2 kids, less than 10, less than 5. I mean, you're going to be spending majority of your time at Magic Kingdom. Like, you should be staying at Bay Lake Tower, even if you say, I see these people that are doing 7 days at Disney, I can't do 7 days. Do 3 nights at Bay Lake Tower, go to Magic Kingdom each day, and you're just right there to come back to the resort. Like, to me, it's underrated because of its location to Magic Kingdom. It's just right there. And now, all of a sudden, if your 4-year-olds just want to ride the monorail, go down to the Contemporary, get on the monorail, and just circle around that for an hour and a half, I mean, it's and again, to me, Bay Lake Tower, if I mentioned the peak of Old Key West, I'm not sure what the peak of Bay Lake Tower is, but I feel like it goes in phases where, whatever happens, there's a buzz about Bay Lake Tower, and then everyone wants to buy Bay Lake Tower, and then like you say, it's the Polynesian that gets the buzz, or it's the Grand Floridian that gets the buzz. It's not the Bay Lake Tower. So the Bay Lake Tower for me was number 1. And what was your number 1?
I was debating about this one. I was debating between Animal Kingdom, which I feel as a bonus one, I'm gonna throw out Animal Kingdom just because Animal Kingdom is such an amazing resort, beautiful, absolutely beautiful resort. Animals, lots of stuff to do, but it's further away than a lot of the other resorts, somewhat. So I mean, a lot of times it gets a bad rap that it's too far away, there's nothing to do. Animal Kingdom is absolutely awesome and one of my absolute favorites. And the other one I chose for most underrated is my favorite location, Boardwalk, where
that's a good one. That is a good one.
Beach Club gets a ton of love, and I feel like it gets a lot more than Boardwalk, but I absolutely love Boardwalk. You got walking distance to Hollywood Studios, walking distance to Epcot, or you take boats there. Lots of food locations and shopping and
activities on the boardwalk
with jugglers and entertainers, magicians. There's a art gallery that's right there.
Jelly rolls.
There's jelly rolls, the dance hall. I mean, there's so much stuff to do there. And I feel like a lot of people, I honestly, like people who are not Disney people, like we'll say somebody goes to Disney every 3 years. I mean, if you were in the parks and you asked them, name what Disney resorts they are, I don't think a lot of them would even name Boardwalk. They would forget about it. Maybe they'd pick a couple of the non-DVC resorts. They'd pick Pop Century, and there's the All-Stars, and then there's Grand Floridian. Everybody knows Grand Floridian, the Polynesian. Like, I think that a lot of people don't realize that Boardwalk is a deluxe resort, DVC, and my absolute favorite choice. So I think it's underrated, especially also, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago, as a DVC member, when staying on points, those standard view rooms that are 33% less points than the regular preferred view is an absolutely fantastic option. It could put you in a boardwalk room for less than the price of a moderate. So,
and of course, the sales center, after Old Key West, it was at the boardwalk, so that's when it used to get all sorts of love.
Yeah, like they still have that one room set up at Boardwalk.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they have one room on the Boardwalk that they have set up as a little sales thing, but that's basically very, very small. Whereas all the sales stuff now is at Saratoga Springs. But
and on the inside, they have those special. What are those rooms? The garden, like the really exclusive rooms. You know what I'm talking about, or you have no idea?
No, you mean on the inside, the non-DVC rooms?
Yeah, right.
I think they have I'm not sure what it. I don't know.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, who is the most famous person that you know of that loves the boardwalk inside? I was just going to see.
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay. Steven Tyler.
I wondered if it was Steven Tyler because I know he stays locally. And when I was at Boardwalk once, I was in a hot tub with the drummer from Sugar Ray.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were performing at the Food and Wine Festival. And me and a couple of friends were hanging out, and we were in the hot tub with the drummer from Sugar Ray. But yeah, so it's a lot. I guess there's a lot of celebrities stay at Boardwalk as well. When you said that, I was thinking Steven Tyler, and I should have said it out loud. But yes,
that's your underrated resorts, and I mean, you don't want to forget about them when you're, even if you're buying or renting DVC, because you'll have a wonderful time. Again, like I say, if you have kids and you're going to Magic Kingdom, Bay Lake Tower, just right there. Yeah. And now we're on to the food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for today's food of the week, I am stepping out of my Boardwalk room, and I am just walking over to Epcot because I'm still gonna check out the Flower and Garden Festival. And you guys have to promise not to yell at me for this one, because I went to Germany and they have the Bauernmarkt, Bauernmarkt, like Bauern Market, where I tried a few of the items, but today we're just gonna focus on the toasted pretzel bread topped with Black Forest ham and melted Gruyere cheese for $5.75. And I'm hoping that I just got one that was sitting out like underneath the heater for too long, because by the time I got it, the ham was dry, the pretzel was hard as a rock. the taste of it wasn't that bad, but I imagine if it was fresh, it would have been very, very pleasant. But the one I had was, I was saying, if all the situations were correct with it, I would have to imagine I'd give it a high 7s. The way I got it, though, I had to give it a 4.3. I was very disappointed, unfortunately. And for the first time ever, I almost went back and said, like, do you have a better one? Because it was just dry and hard and just not good. For the price, it's a very small portion. It was $5.75. I mean, it's bigger than a golf ball, smaller than a lacrosse ball. I mean, it's a very small little thing for $6.
At least you didn't say smaller than a pickleball.
I thought about it, but the pickleball was just way too big to use as a comparison. But it was not very good. I was very unhappy. Again, I think it would have been good had it been fresh, or maybe they were all like this. I don't know, but it just seemed like it was under a heat lamp for hours and just like died a slow death out there.
And now we're on to the DVC-Rental side of things.
So recently we got asked, a member asked, I want to buy more points specifically to rent out. Where should I buy? And there's no number one answer. There's no, you got to buy at Bay Lake Tower. That's the way to go. They all vary. I mean, every now and then we'll need points at a specific resort. Like last year, I know we were in need of Polynesian points. Right now, we're pretty much caught up on points. So there's a lot of times there'll be like a big run on something. Like, wow, we got 30 people waiting on Polynesian points. At this stage right now, there's nothing like we've had a big run, but there are points that are more easy to rent out than others. Like a beach club, Boardwalk, Bay Lake Tower, Polynesian, Grand Floridian are all typically ones that we can rent out a little faster than a Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, Vero Beach. As long as you get them to us, with plenty of time, we'll still be able to rent out your points. But, if you're looking for something that's going to rent out super quick, maybe one of the ones that are more in demand that I just mentioned. But then again, I always think a nice option, if you're looking for like bang for the buck, Animal Kingdom, Saratoga Springs, extended Old Key West have lower buy-in prices, so you can get and typically a little bit less. Animal Kingdom, it's a higher maintenance fee, but like Saratoga Springs, I don't allow Saratoga Springs because it's lower buy-in price, late expiration, and lower maintenance fees. So I always find that's one of the best bangs for the buck out there. Again, Saratoga Springs points will take longer to rent out than Polynesian points, but again, if you give us plenty of time, we'll be able to rent them out. Or you can always take those Saratoga points, book a confirmed reservation.
If you secure
at Polynesian or Beach Club,
right. If you secure one of the unique reservations under 7 months,
listed on our deals page, and it sells much faster. So there's no specific right answer, But some will rent out faster, but again, there's ways around it. I mean, and truthfully, that's why you use a company like ours, because we kind of know how to help you along the way. There's other, maybe other places would sit there and say, Saratoga points are almost impossible to rent out. We have ways around that with confirmed reservations and leading you. And, some DVC members give us their logins and we'll take care of all of the work for you. So, I mean, we'll go in there and we'll book the stuff that we think will rent out best. And as it gets close, if it doesn't rent out, we can always cancel it and rebook something else that we think will rent out. So, I mean, again, as long as you give us plenty of time, we'll be able to get your points rented out for you. So there's no issues at all. There's no number one magic thing that I've got to own at this resort. That's the only way I'll get my points rented out quickly. There's always ways for it. So,
because I don't want to throw you for a loop here. There's a question on the blue.
But this is what you like to do.
This is what I like to do, because I'm curious.
There we go.
So let's say someone owns that Alani, right?
Yes.
Now, a lot of people will say Alani is a resort that you can, you have a lot of options under 7 months to book there, correct?
Yes. Except for the summer, yes.
So would it be, so if you own that Alani, you'd want to take advantage of the 7 to 11 month window and book that hotel room, correct?
Possibly, yes.
Because if you book it and you book the right dates, that's going to be something that's going to be.
It's a great question. It's a tougher one. You have to think, though, the people who are reaching out to me and seeing our stuff, most of them are looking for Disney World. There's lots of options. Disney World's huge. Only a small people know that Alani's even an option. So if we sat there and had the hotel room during the summer at Alani, somebody might want to snag that quickly. But I'd say 90% plus of our bookings are Walt Disney World. There's only a smaller amount of people who want Hilton Head or Vero Beach or Alani or even Disneyland. So the majority of our rooms are people looking for Disney World. So even a hot item like that could possibly sit for a little bit just because it's waiting for the right person who goes, I happen to be looking for DVC and I happen to be looking to go to Hawaii this year. More people are coming to here going, hey, I'm going to Disney in 3 months. What do you got? I'm coming to Magic Kingdom. I'm coming to Disney World. What do you got 3 weeks from now?
All right, what slices do you have coming out of the oven? I'm hungry now.
Exactly. Lots of. Now I want pizza.
I don't want to hear about your specialty pizza. Give me
Tell
one.
me it's hot and ready right now. And we get a lot of hot and ready right now. So like that Alani reservation is a good reservation. A lot of times, if you own a Alani, it might be better to book a Walt Disney World reservation because that's who our majority of people who are looking to book with us are looking for.
Gotcha. That's interesting. That's all good information that you can, that's something that you're going to get questions like that. If we go live,
oh gosh, yes.
Those are going to be the questions. Scott, which property should I be buying right now if I want to run out half my points? Scott, what's the return on investment on this property if I buy it at this price? Scott, man, that would be, we might go live and have to have technical difficulties after 5 minutes and say, sorry, folks.
Yes. Oh, what's the return on investment? We'd hate for that to happen, though, of course.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to leave comments on if we're missing any topic that you wish that we would touch on.
Yes.
Or whatever you want to hear. We're open to talk on that subject. So come back next week.
Thank you so much, everyone.